It's great to have you with us here at the virtual Tea Fest, and you're coming to us from India, where the time is set off just a little bit. But well, tell me a little bit first, I guess, about how you got into tea.
I should say first thing, good evening from India. It was a very lucky coincidence that we got a government invitation to come to Bihar. That was way back in 1998. And there was something not very good with that area. That was the migration of the labor to some outside areas. And India was little short on tea production. So they wanted more area to be under this. And these two coincidences brought us to Bihar. That's how the whole story started.
I was starting to be an interior designer, but then my brother, he needed a little bit of my help, so I thought, okay, let's get into the family business. So first, what I used to do was I used to just maybe like sort of pass my day in lochan tea. I used to sit in the office. Not It's not my style. I mean, I don't like working behind a computer 9 to 5. Like that doesn't interest me. I used to get bored really easily. So then I think in 2010, I think it was, that we started going to Doke, me and my mother. And there was this one year that we had leaf, but then the factory was closed. So that is how I became involved in tea making and the Doke Tea Estate, me and my mother. That's how we
Yeah.
got.
Huh. When was that?
That
What year
was
was
in,
that?
I think we started in 2010. I mean, we started the experiments in 2010, but
Mm-hmm.
then we started the the good tea that we could at least send out to the people was in 2012.
Okay. But there was some good fortune too in terms of how the river started feeding the estate. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing which has happened with Doak, because when we arrived there, we found that it is all dry, and then because of the no water in that, only there was no plantation or there was no crops all around it, and that made the lands very cheap. That time we did not realize, what is what. We were just given that opportunity, please come and do this thing and that thing. Then we slowly realized that this area needs a lot of inputs, and it took about 4 or 5 years by the time we got this bonanza. I call it bonanza because no one had ever promised us, or no one had ever expected it, that a uh, electric plants, uh, a discharge will be allowed into our canal, or that dry channel. And when it came, it wet all the lands around it, and then the capillary action brought the water up. And then the real thing is started for Doke. We had lower temperature by about 5 degrees from the original, whatever we had. And then a lot of activity of the birds, a lot of activity on the area, around the area where we had other crops also started coming in. So that became the real thing for which now Doke is known.
How did you find labor in that area? They're so important in terms of the production and the quality of your tea.
Originally, when we arrived, there was no young male people who were available for work. But there were some aboriginal people, which we call them Adivasis, or the people from the central India, people who are little black in this thing, and they do not look like Indians. They were the original inhabitants of India before the Aryans moved in. That's, I do not know, thousands and thousands of years ago. So we invited those people to come in and then do the work, and they were very nice. They also liked the work of the soil and the preparation of the lands and all those things. And then they got assimilated into the tea plantations. That's how the labor scene started.
Before it was me and my mom, we were plucking it ourselves, but then slowly we started teaching that to the laborers.
So how many hectares is the estate?
We have got about 10 hectare under the exact plantation, and then but around us we have got hundreds and thousands of tea, hundreds and thousands of acres of tea, which is all around our area. But whatever we are doing on Doke is something very unique, which no one else does.
And what is that? How is it unique?
See, because of my experience with China, I thought that I must study, what is the use of this leaf which we are plucking. And instead of just sending it to the bottle factories, we must try to do something. And one day, by accident, I brought a little bit of green leaf to my house in Siliguri, and one of my staff in the office and my daughter together, they tried to make some tea, and we did. So that was the starting, and then we were doing a lot of experiment with the strokes of the hands, like how to roll and how to ferment and how to dry that. These things, these three things together made us improve on the quality slowly for about 7, 8 years. And today we have what we have.
So did you use the native cultivars that were there, or did you bring in some others that you liked to plant on the estate?
You see what happened. TRA at that moment, that's Tea Research Association in India, was releasing some planting material. They were starting from TV1, that's the uh, vegetative propagation material from Indian Tea Research Association. And the series kept on going from 1 to 9 to 18 to 24, 25, different things for the different things like 22, 23 were very good for the drought. They were drought resistance. 24, 25 were good for the production or the green leaf quantity. And then 31 came for the quality. So like that, we experimented with 24, 25 because we had water, very good quantity of water, and they came up very well. And then the newfound water and then the new land, all everything together brought the best quality from those 24, 25. That's TB 24, 25.
The first thing is because Doke is not a tea growing area.
Mm-hmm.
Up till now, people are doing that, but then it's not a very, and being in Bihar, the climate and the landscape and everything, it's not a very usual place where you can get the types of teas that we are making.
If I remember right, early on, one of the first crops you had a lot of silver needles. You did a white tea at that time. How do you determine what you're going to produce at any given time?
See, this silver needle, that's the easiest thing to produce if you don't have any other thing like you don't have the rolling thing and you don't have the sufficient quantity of the leaf to do the experiment. So we initially we started plucking the buds only, right, in the first and second flush, and we used to dry it. Very early the drying was not very good, and then they used to turn black. But then later on, they started becoming very silvery, very hairy, and then good in the weight according to the season. And it took about 7, 8 years to develop good silver needle. What is special about silver needle in Bihar is that they are just below Darjeeling. So there's some beautiful scent which is not there anywhere else in India. So our silver needle became very unique. They've got a little bit of nice bouquet of Darjeeling, and then the heavy bud of Bihar.
What tea do you like to make the best?
Black fusion.
Black Fusion? Yes. Why is that?
I mean, green is very challenging. Green has been very challenging for me. The
Hmm.
black fusion, I think it's very easy to play with. Every time I tweak something, it gets better. For me, it gets better. I don't know
Hmm.
for the other people, but for me, it always gets better.
Yeah. The Black Fusion has been one of our customers' favorites from Doke. So that and the I think the first one that we actually had was the Silver Needles.
Yeah,
And that's a unique tea that our customers still ask for. So I'm glad we're going to have some of that this season.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult to make that tea. I mean,
Uh-huh.
this year, because of the rainy season, we're still having rains in September. I mean, this is October now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not common at all to have rains in this season. So it's
So
affecting tea.
yeah. So is that going to delay your autumnal flush a little bit?
It's not that. I think it doesn't delay. I mean, the season stays the same. It's just the taste, it depends.
Mm-hmm.
It different. It affects the taste of the tea.
Yeah.
Too much
Yeah.
rain is never good. You
Yeah.
get tea is always watery.
Yeah. It doesn't have a chance to develop the character as much in the rainy season.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Okay. So yeah, India is not known for green teas. So are you adopting a lot of the Chinese method in making that?
The rolling, yes, we've learned from China. The
Mm-hmm.
movement of hands and everything we've learned from China. But then everything else is our own.
India is not traditionally known for that area is not traditionally known for green teas, but you have one of our favorites, Green Diamond. Can you tell us a little bit about that tea?
Green Diamond also like after making black tea, we wanted to experiment with this, and then my daughter found that she can do the kill green operation very well. The water again, the quality of water was very good for doing that work, and then the green tea still is improving every time, every batch which we make because of the rolling. Very good rolling is being done by this woman folk, and green diamond is improving very, very well.
So that's all the rolling and producing is done by hand, isn't it?
Yeah, doing the head operations and then trying to improve on the emotions, that has become a very good exercise for us. And more so because of the Chinese visitors.
Ah,
Every time we get a Chinese visitor, he tells something new, and those ladies are improving upon their rolling, and then the subsequent drying also, the first thing the immediately when the leaf comes, we give it a little bit of wither so that it becomes a little leathery, and with the leathery leaf the rolling becomes still better, and the kill green, so the total equilibrium of the manufacture is improving, and the liquors are very good.
do you produce the Green Diamond pretty much all year round, or are there some seasons that you think the green is better than others?
This year we have tried almost all the flushes. We made first flush, and then we made second flush also. But in between there was lockdown, so we had to leave it for about 2 months. And both the first flush and the second flush, Green Diamond was quite good. And now during the some dry days of rains also, we made some, which has come out the best so far.
Ah,
Yeah,
well, we'll
and
look
then we
forward
have
to
been.
that.
This year is a very lucky coincidence.
Yes. So you mentioned help from the Chinese. One of the other teas that you do that's quite unique is the Rolling Thunder, which is an oolong.
That, this oolong, this thing I learned from Wei Shan. Wei Shan makes some very nice teas. And my first interaction with the Chinese teas, the making and all that, because of the Robert Fortune travels and those things, was in that area. So we were just trying to do something which is very, very unique. And Rolling Thunder came into being. And that's how, we have been improving on all the 40s, the white, the black, the green, and the oolongs. Yeah.
So controlling the oxidation of the oolong is real critical. Who's in charge of that?
That's Dolly. She keeps on doing experiments. And then there is a person called Master. He's the manager of the tea estate. He's very intelligent with the agriculture and he keeps watching because he's all the time there. So he just watches the development of the leaf and the changing seasons. So he has been experimenting and we have been luckily improving the quality. This year, wife of this gentleman called Master, she's also involved and she's doing very good work. So we hope to get very, very good green tea this year.
So I think what we wanted to do initially was we wanted to just experiment on, first we went with the white, the silver needle, and then we wanted to move forward and we wanted to see if we could do it or not. It's very surprising that we could make all 4 teas.
In the bags that we had for the virtual tea fest, you were generous enough to send us one of your favorite black teas.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they have like the black fusion. What we like to think is, it has the color of an Assam. It has a taste of, maybe it has a hint of Darjeeling.
Yeah.
It's like 2 places in one. So that's the unique thing about those.
Yeah, the black fusion usually has a little bit of a citrus or even some kind of a maple hint to it a lot of times. So it's not certainly not what you would expect out of Darjeeling all the time.
Black fusion, this was the very first thing which we started. And the sweetness, because of the water which we got as a bonus, that brought in the sweetness. When I do a little bit of my memory search, I find that nowhere in India, I mean Assam and Bengal, we don't have that much good soil anywhere. This soil has given us a sweetness which is very particular, very peculiar to this area. And this maple-like sweetness has given a very unique recognition to black fusion.
Yeah.
We are lucky to get it.
Yes, yes. So do you try and produce that in each of the flushes?
Yeah, at least for first and second flush and then autumn. Rain, we are still experimenting when we are thinking that when more and more production will be required, we must do some changes and do some little bit of help of the machinery or some other little handmade tools which can increase the production. We are in the experimental stage.
Yeah. So I know most people are familiar with the different flushes in Darjeeling. Do you have the same number of flushes there in Bihar that they have down in Darjeeling?
There's a little bit of adjustment because of the heat. The hot air which comes from the Gangetic plains, that makes the difference. Darjeeling is on a wall which faces those hot winds. So the seasons, the interval between first and second flush is a little different, whereas that interval in our area, Bihar, is a little longer. So a little bit of adjustment is there.
Do you have the same monsoon season or similar monsoon season as they do down in Darjeeling?
Yeah, that's the same area, but what happens, Darjeeling is climbing, so water does not stay there. We do not have floods. So water keeps draining. And the total physiology or total geography of Darjeeling is different from where we are. We get flooded. 2 months we get seriously flooded, so the working patterns, the manufacturing patterns, and then everything becomes so different from Darjeeling. That is evolving slowly with the passage of time.
I see. I see from some of your information you send out that you just built a new facility.
Yeah, we are improving upon the type of like a storage of the leaf, and then the rolling also, which we do on those bamboo, those round things which we call nanglo, and then drying of that. So we have been constantly doing the changes and constantly improving upon the techniques. I say the strokes, the different strokes, improving day by day.
That's quite an investment for you. What plans do you have for the future for Doke Estate?
I visited a very small plantation in near Shizuoka. This gentleman had only 2 hectares of land, and he himself and his wife and his father, mother, 2 children. They were staying on a house which was on the plantation itself. They had a small shed. Inside this, he had some machinery, which was all perfected by Kawasaki, and he had gas to run those machines.
Hmm.
So what he was doing was replicating those hand motions by those machines. And with the help of that, he was making some quantity, which was almost to the tune of 1,000 kilos per year.
Uh,
And because of his improvement of the motions, he was bringing out the chemicals which were the best possible, and the quality was so good. He will get the Emperor's model almost every competition, which is every 4 years. So that is the type of model I want to evolve for Doke. I want to keep them artisanal, where you should not do anything other than the hands. But then replication of those motions, if we can do with machines, the Japanese technology, that's going to be very interesting.
yeah,
I have that dream in my mind to do that.
that's it's kind of interesting. So he gets 1,000 kilos out of 2 hectares. Is that sounds like quite a bit of production?
Yeah, because that area is called Sansui area, which is quite interior, but very good flushing, because Shizuoka is not that cold. So 1,000 kilos from 2 hectares is not big.
Okay.
We can always do that. We can do even more, but I don't want to produce more. I want to produce the best.
Yes.
That's my motto.
Yeah. Okay. What other challenges do you see facing Indian tea up in your part of the world there?
Being a woman, I think, is challenging. It's easier to talk to men, but then in Dope, where we have, it's a male-dominated society out there.
Hmm.
Initially, when I used to go, I mean, now also people don't listen. I ask them to do something, they don't listen.
Ah,
So I am sort of the homemaker. You know, they have that image that her place is at home, not here. So they don't listen. So
hmm.
it's exciting also, because I like to, like, to get them to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting and it's challenging. It's fun, better than
Hmm.
sitting at a computer in front of a computer 9 to 5.
So the main challenge in India is people are not very adaptive to modern things. The government, and then the monitoring officers, and then the people who are connected with the shipping infrastructure. So we have to take them in a stride when we do the production, do the development of our area. Only after 25 years, that is starting 1998 to 2020, only we could convince the government to give us a policy, the industrial policy to do those things. And now we expect that there will be more organization and there will be more of government support for our production. So slowly things are evolving. Once that happens, we have a better infrastructure to do things like drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is a very expensive thing. It's only with the help of government we can do this. And if we have drip irrigation, we can improve the quality of tea further.
So you mentioned you had to shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic. How did that affect your people and also the crops there?
The initial 1 month, it did affect us. We
Hmm.
had very good weather. The season was perfect. I mean, it was the perfect time for us to make good first flush teas. That was destroyed because we had to chop off the leaf and everything because we had beautiful weather. It was very warm, so it was growing very fast. So we had to throw that all away.
Mm.
And then after that, I think it's been good after that. The initial first month was very bad. After
Hmm.
that, we started producing. Yeah, so we got a good bit, and then again we got the rainy season.
See, that time when we had the first lockdown, no one knew anything, and we did not know, what we are going to do. This thing called lockdown, stopping of the work. People were so scared because the Chinese model was already there in front of us, and there were wrong information like people just fall dead and all those things. People were very scared. They did not turn up, and there was too much of overproduction on the bush. After about 25 days, we had to just escape, throw those young shoots because they were overgrown, and then the new crop came in. So that we had not anticipated. We lost a lot of good crop, and then slowly things came to normal. It took about 1.5 months. We lost half of the first flush and half of the second flush. Then after that, slowly during the rains, we neutralized, and now we are making much better crop and quality and other things.
Yeah. Has transportation and logistics been a challenge for you during that time then?
Because the government was allowing the tea garden people to travel, we didn't have any of that problem
Hmm.
because we had permission from the government since we had a tea garden.
Yeah, for others, most of the others, they were not even able to ship or do anything. I would say we were very, very courageous to take so much of risk. We kept on traveling. Even the administration were appreciating that these people are very brave. They don't care for their own safety, but they're just ferrying the teas. And then FedEx was of much good help. They started shipping, so we could reach most of our teas worldwide. Our first flush arrived there in time, second flush also, and now we are bracing for the autumn.
I know some of the getting tea out of India to the U.S. seemed to be a little bit slower than it has been in the past.
Yeah, the courier system was a bit difficult, but then
Hmm.
for us, for working within the country was not that difficult.
Yeah.
And sending these outside were a bit difficult. In the initial, I think it was up till June we had a problem.
Are there some things that you'd like to share that I didn't ask?
Yeah, I planned something special for 2021, and we are trying to prepare something which we can do with the solar energy, because our area, the electricity is not very, very, not very uh, organized. So the solar energy might give us a very good result. That's what we have been planning, and
Yeah.
we have been talking to government.
That sounds like a pretty big undertaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great. Let's see. Anything else, Rajiv, that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell that this particular area where we are is called Purvanchal. Purvanchal means the northeast of Bihar. In 1917, there was a earthquake which destroyed the main route between Delhi and Assam, and our area fell very much behind. Only recently, the main road has been opened. It took about 83 years to do that. And now the area has started developing. Too much of infrastructure is coming up. With that, we expect very good electricity grids and other things, and too much of industrialization. So we are looking for the extraordinary development of our area, and we are preparing ourselves for that.
It's really interesting to see how much adversity and challenges it takes to start a tea estate, to get it planted, and then to have to deal with all the uncertainties of climate, of transportation, of government issues, and things of that nature. And so, it's really kind of inspiring and kind of keeps me in awe when I sit down and enjoy a cup of tea from the Doke Estate to think of the amount of work that it took to get it from just a seedling to us here in the middle part of the United States. And so we're pretty pleased to be able to offer this tea and to have this partnership with you. And we really appreciate your time. And we wish you all the best of luck. And now, if you've got some time, what we'll have is an open question and answer session with the participants here at the Virtual Tea Festival.
Thank you so much, Tim. It's my personal luck that I'm reliving what British did 200 years back. And I really want to share it with America, which is now getting into US grown teas. So it is a very good study and very good experimentation. I really want to be in deep touch with you people. Thank you so much for promoting us.
Thank you, and I'm enjoying a cup of the Black Fusion as we record today. So,
Welcome.
thank you.
Thank you so much.